Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. We're in the middle of the week. I hope that you're accomplishing all of your goals. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, but I was just wrapping up one of my episodes for Art to Art, which is basically a web series where I interview different artists. I ask them about their techniques. I ask them about their experiences with their careers in the art world. And each of my artists that is interviewed likes to give tips about how to succeed in the artist world. So if you are an artist and you're interested in being on my Art to Art show, email, send me a message. I'd be happy to have you and interview you. And I'm sure that you would want to show your artwork and talk to the audience about what you do. Today, I wanted to talk to you about a hot topic, which is money, which is your salary. A lot of the times, there's a lot of confusion about high salary, both in terms of the criterion and also in terms of you actually need to make a high salary for your O1. So I just want to start off by saying the artist visa is not a volunteer visa. It is a professional work visa, which means that in all the contracts that we draft, we need to include a numerical value of how much you're going to be making. Sometimes when clients have a lot of contracts, and they want to include maybe like a project that they're going to be doing for free. Sometimes they'll do that. It really depends on strategy, but we would use it to supplement their itinerary. So let's talk about first the high salary for the immigration forms for the I-129. So different practitioners do it different ways. I do not want to cause any doubt in the mind of the officer that's reviewing the petition, so I don't include the word varies. Sometimes you'll see petitions in the I-129. In the salary part, some attorneys will put varies. The reason why I don't do that is because I do not want the immigration officer to think that your employment is speculative. So that word speculative is actually in the law. It's actually in the notes of Congress. You cannot have employment that's speculative. So speculative is not defined by them, obviously. We're not that lucky. But a rule of thumb or the common sense definition of speculative would be something that's not confirmed, something that's not set in stone. So because that word varies implies that it could be this figure or it could be that figure, I don't like to include it because I want the immigration officer to see that this is a confirmed salary. So do you need to make a minimum salary for the artist visa? The answer is no. There's no guidance in the law as to how much you have to make minimally. This is not like the H-1B where you need to make a prevailing wage. That prevailing wage was created to protect international workers from being taken advantage of by their employers. So in the O1, in the artist visa, you don't really have that sort of requirement where you need to make a minimum amount of money during your O1 validity period, because that salary is your projected salary for your first year. So the short answer to that is no. I filed petitions where I have clients who are making upwards of $1 million a year. These are for my high profile clients, but I've also filed successful petitions for clients who are making $14,000 a year. What I tell clients is, whatever you decide with your employer, whatever you're negotiating with your employer, that will be your salary. You obviously want to make sure that you're making a livable wage because you're living in, for example, New York City, if that's where you're living and you plan on working. So somebody who's making maybe like $10,000 a year, number one, that's not believable, and that will cause the immigration officer to doubt the veracity of the petition. And number two, we're trying to prove that you are extraordinary, that you are awesome, that you're great at what you do. So people who are usually great at what they do, people who are at the top of their field or experts in the field, they're not making 10 grand a year. That's just not the case. Have I filed cases that have low salaries? Yes, I have, because it happens. Sometimes clients do not make that much money for the projects that they have. But in general, we don't. We file cases where the client is making an appropriate wage. And of course, this is between you, the client, and your future employer in terms of how you want to negotiate to get to that salary. So that's a lot of information, but I want to tell you that there is no prevailing wage requirement like for the H-1B. I personally or professionally in my firm, I don't include the word visa. I actually include a dollar amount in the immigration forms in the form I-129. I advise clients that I tell my clients, or I give information to my clients that they should be making a living wage, because we do not want to cast doubt on their petition. And we want to make sure that the client is actually making money and able to live and sustain herself during her period of a stay in the US. Now, let's talk about the high salary requirement, not the criterion for the artist visa. So sometimes we have clients who are making X amount of money, and we're able to prove that they have a high salary. So the word high salary, I mean, we can prove it in many different ways, but it's actually referred to what your projected salary is going to be, and it also refers to your past salary. So let's say you are an architect in your home country, right? Or you've done architectural projects in your home country, and you are making for your country a good salary. Then that's something that I can argue. This is why it's so important to be very, very thorough with your CV and include all the information possible. Because at least when you work with my firm, no stone is left unturned. I really want to understand nitty gritty, everything that you've done in your career, because I want to make sure that I'm arguing you to the best of my ability with the facts that I have. So this was a lot of information, so I just want to recap about the high salary criterion. So the high salary criterion refers to your projected work, which is why the way the contracts are drafted is very, very important. And it also refers to your past salary, or what you made in the past. So there are different ways of proving this, and we can talk about this in a different video. But today, I want to make sure that you understand three things. I want to make sure that you understand that there is, number one, no prevailing wage requirement for the O1 visa. This prevailing wage requirement is for H-1Bs, and it was put into place to protect international workers from being taken advantage of by their employers. Number two, the high salary criterion refers to your future work, so your projected salary for your O1 validity period. And it also refers to your past salary, so whatever you made prior to applying for your artist visa. So the important thing to realize is you need to always put as much detail and data in your CV. Number two, you want to make sure that you're that you're making a living wage, a good wage, because we need to prove that you're extraordinary. So this requires negotiation and talking with your employers. And number three, we don't want to cast doubt on your petition. We want to be able to prove that you're extraordinary, and people who are usually extraordinary are not making a low salary. Can you apply with a low salary? Absolutely. I've done it numerous times successfully, no RFEs, case approved right away. But you're in it to win it, right? So you want to make your petition as strong as possible. So I know this video was a little bit long today, but there's a lot of confusion. I get a lot of questions about this, and I wanted to just clarify a couple of points. If you want to be on my Art to Art series, send me an email. I'd be happy to interview you, discuss your artwork, and share your artwork with for the world to see. Sorry about yesterday. I know there were technical difficulties, but we've resolved it. Things are up and running. And I will see you today at 4 p.m. to give you creative career advice to make sure that you are successful in your field. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I will see you at 4 p.m. Bye.